Welcome back to the Ancestral Findings podcast. Have you ever wondered who invented the beloved pumpkin pie? Contrary to what one might think, this iconic dessert wasn't the creation of a single individual. Instead, its rich history spans continents and centuries, weaving together the culinary traditions of Native Americans and European settlers. Let's delve into the fascinating tale of how pumpkin pie became a staple on our holiday tables. No food is as closely associated with autumn in the United States as the pumpkin. As the leaves turn and the air grows crisp, we eagerly embrace pumpkin-flavored everything. There's the now essential pumpkin spice latte, pumpkin bread, muffins, cookies, soups, and even pumpkin-infused pastas and beers. Yet among all these seasonal delights, one stands out as the most cherished and time-honored, the pumpkin pie. This quintessential holiday dessert graces tables at both Thanksgiving and Christmas celebrations, with its smooth, spiced filling nestled in a flaky crust and topped with a dollop of whipped cream. Pumpkin pie holds a place of honor alongside the turkey itself. But did you know that the pumpkin's journey to becoming a pie has deep roots in American soil? The pumpkin is native to North and Central America, where it has been cultivated by indigenous peoples. Early Native Americans valued pumpkins not just for their flavor, but also for their versatility and nutritional value. They used every part of the pumpkin, seeds, flesh, and even the blossoms, in their cooking. When European explorers arrived in the Americas in the late 15th and early 16th centuries, they encountered pumpkins and were intrigued by this new fruit. The first recorded mention of pumpkins by Europeans dates back to 1536. Enthralled by its size and taste, they took seeds back to Europe, where the pumpkin quickly gained popularity. By the mid-1500s, pumpkins were commonly grown in England and France, known respectively as pompions and pompons, derived from the Greek word pepon, meaning large melon. England, with its rich tradition of pie-making dating back to medieval times, was among the first to incorporate pumpkins into pies. Medieval pies were hearty affairs filled with meats, fruits, and spices, often encased in a thick pastry crust. As pumpkins made their way into English kitchens, they naturally found a place within these versatile dishes. One of the earliest known pumpkin pie recipes appeared in a 17th century English cookbook. These early versions differed significantly from the pumpkin pie we know today. For instance, a 1670 recipe by English author Hannah Woolley called for boiling the pumpkin flesh and mixing it with herbs like rosemary and thyme before baking it in a crust. Sweetness was often added using honey or molasses, and spices like nutmeg and cinnamon were introduced to enhance the flavor. When the English colonists set sail for the New World in the early 1600s, they brought with them their culinary traditions, including pie making. However, upon arriving, they faced harsh conditions and limited resources. The colonists relied heavily on the knowledge and generosity of the Native Americans, who taught them how to cultivate native crops like pumpkins, corn, and beans. Pumpkins quickly became a vital food source for the settlers, especially during the harsh New England winters. The colonists adapted their pie-making techniques to incorporate the abundant pumpkin. Lacking the wheat flour needed for traditional crusts, they often improvised. One method involved hollowing out a pumpkin, filling it with milk, honey, and spices, and then roasting it in hot ashes, a rudimentary but delicious precursor to the pumpkin pie. Pumpkins were almost certainly part of the first Thanksgiving feast in 1621, shared between the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag tribe. While it's unlikely that pumpkin pie was served in the form we recognize today, pumpkins were undoubtedly prepared and enjoyed in some fashion during the celebration. As the colonies grew and flour became more readily available, the traditional pumpkin pie began to take shape. By the early 1700s, recipes resembling modern pumpkin pie appeared in American cookbooks. Amelia Simmons's American Cookery, published in 1796, is considered the first American cookbook and includes 2 recipes for pumpkin pudding baked in a crust, essentially the pumpkin pie we know today. Initially, pumpkin pie was a regional dish, popular mainly in New England. Its association with Thanksgiving was so strong that When Thanksgiving was proclaimed a national holiday by Abraham Lincoln in 1863, some southern states resisted adopting the tradition. They viewed it as an attempt to impose northern customs and values. An editorial in a Richmond, Virginia newspaper even criticized Thanksgiving as an annual custom, northern in its origin, and specifically took issue with pumpkin pie and roast turkey. However, after the Civil War, pumpkin pie's popularity spread across the country. Women's magazines and cookbooks began featuring pumpkin pie recipes, solidifying its place in American cuisine. The advent of canned pumpkin in the early 20th century, introduced by the Libby Company in 1929, revolutionized pumpkin pie making. No longer did home cooks need to painstakingly prepare fresh pumpkins. They could now create a delicious pie with much less effort. Today, pumpkin pie is an enduring symbol of American tradition and the holiday season. It's a dessert that brings families together, evoking nostalgia and warmth. Modern recipes may include variations like adding cream cheese for a richer filling or incorporating maple syrup for extra sweetness. Some bakers experiment with graham cracker crusts or sprinkle pecans on top for added texture. Beyond its culinary appeal, the pumpkin pie has also become a cultural icon. It features in literature, art, and music, often representing comfort and home. Festivals celebrating pumpkins and pumpkin pies are held across the country, highlighting the enduring love affair between Americans and this humble dessert. As you savor your next slice of pumpkin pie, consider the rich history baked into every bite. From its origins among Native American tribes to its adaptation by European settlers and its journey to becoming a beloved national tradition, the pumpkin pie is more than just a dessert. It's a testament to cultural exchange, innovation, and the enduring power of food to bring people together. Thanks for spending time with me on the Ancestral Findings podcast. I always enjoy sharing these stories, tips, and discoveries with you. If you haven't already, head over to ancestralfindings.com, where you can download a free genealogy ebook, request a free lookup, and of course enter to win the next book giveaway. It's been an incredible journey together since 1995, and your support through these past 29 years means more to me than words can express. I'm so grateful for this wonderful community of genealogy enthusiasts who continue to inspire me every day. Keep up the great work on your family history research, and may your next find be as exciting as your first. Thank you again for being part of this journey, and as always, happy searching.